ahead and call the regular council meeting on Monday, November 17th, 2025 to order at 7 p.m. Please rise for the invocation and the pledge of allegiance.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity we have of serving you, and we pray that you give us the wisdom and guidance that we need to control the city and to upgrade the city and pay all the bills and get things done. Lord, we pray that you give us the direction to go on this, and we thank you for providing this nice day and rain for us. For we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, you entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Second. Good motion, properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Council, do we have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting and executive session of November 3rd, 2025? Sorry. We have a motion properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Council, do we have any nominations for recognition? I have one. I would like to provide a nomination for recognition for the Newcastle Chamber of Commerce. They put on their luau party this last weekend, and they provided reports on all the tables. And they offer individual memberships if anybody's interested. I think they're $35, so I'm actually a member of the chamber. So their numbers have all gone up. They're up to 90 businesses that, so their numbers are way up from when I was on the council and as a member of the council, and they're doing good things. So just really like to nominate them for recognition. Is there any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to certificate of recognition, Hurricane Services. And I don't see anybody from Hurricane in attendance tonight, but this nomination was made for their efforts to enhance the appearance of Newcastle with the demolition of the old buildings. And so we just wanted to let them know that they were greatly appreciated in getting some of the old buildings out of town. So hopefully we have a lot more work to send to them. Yeah. Oh, I guess I need to sign it. Sorry. Okay, moving on to citizens business verbal. Item number 1, Mondale Airport Board, hangar income.
I'll answer any questions from here.
Once again, Officer, I'm going to come up here for you. I finally have, the good news is the hangar's complete.
All right.
The second good news, we actually have 6 of the hangars leased out already.
How many you got total?
We have 8 total. So we have 6 of them are leased, unleased. 1 we have planned on keeping empty for a daily rental if someone comes in and wants to place it overnight. And the seventh one is, we've had, and I guess we'd say, kind of in communications, trying to see if the guy really wants to lease it or not. So, that's the good news. The second good news is, we were talking with the state accountant on ways we could use that income money to help the airport not be such a burden on the county and the city for finances in the future. Several different ways we discussed. We also had a talk with the city attorney and county attorney. Last 2 weeks ago, we met with the county commissioners. They approved for them to create a line item in the budget county, and I hope I get this right, the airport operating account. And that will be funded with the fees, the leasings from the hangar, we'll go into that, and any non-planned expenses, something that we hadn't already budgeted out through our regular budgeting process that comes up, that money would be there for us to use. Say, an example would be last year when it came to you for funds for a $850 overhead door repair. We didn't know, but it just failed. That money would have been used to repair that. How it would work is the county has the money in there. We write a voucher to them saying we need X amount of dollars for this expense out of this fund. We invoice them. They say, okay, there's money, they pay it, and boom. Both you and the county see that funds that were in there was allocated out through that voucher. That way, you're not having to vote on where are we going to come up with non-budgeted $800 funds. And the state auditor was really, he's the one that liked that because we didn't have to do any 501(c) things or get any checkbook or nothing. The county still does all the accounting for us. All we do is submit vouchers. They voted on that, the county did, they authorized it. We're asking for your blessing on that. Did I cover it right, guys?
Yeah, the county commissioners were asking that, ask for the approval of the city council, and if it is approved, they would just like a letter of authorization or letter of agreement to set up the account, because this is all pending on the city also because of the fixed fee.
Both of you entities need to agree on the structure.
Understood. So, I was gonna ask the council if they wanted to entertain a motion to provide for the letter of approval.
Your Honor, I move that the council do provide for the writing of the letter for the approval of the arrangements for to have your own money.
Do we have a second? We have a motion properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? So,
I kind of do have a question. So just to clarify to me, so this $1,250 that you get every month, every year for these people, it goes to the county then? Or to you?
No, it goes to the county. As a line item, income to Mondale,
Okay,
from Mondale Field income to the general fund.
okay, gotcha.
okay, so what happens to the surplus, like, at the end of the year?
The way the auditor expressed to us, he says it would be beneficial to keep the money to accrue in there. So down the road, if we have another $1.5 million project, say a runway extension or recapping or something we needed, where we,
Savings
the
account.
savings account basically, so we come to you and say, we have a $2 million project that you and the city, or excuse me, you and the county have to provide 2% each on. That might have come to, say, 20 or 2,000, 4,000, or 6,000, or $10,000. That money, if there's in there, could be used to cover that, as opposed to asking you guys to cover a 2% of a 4% matching grant.
Okay, so it turns into a line item in the budget, and then it just carries over year after year. And if you don't touch it, then it can
That's right.
keep building.
Yep.
Okay,
Like accrual.
The question that we need to ask though, is that if it's sitting in the county as a line item for them, is there interest on that money? Mr. Commissioner?
Jared Morton. Yes, there are accounts that do get invested, depending on how long the money's planned to be in there or how much is in there. This account, depending on what gets accrued from year to year, that would be taken into account for sure. But it's definitely the way to look at it, the money's coming in, on monies generated from the airport is 50-50 generation for the city and for the county. So the approval for both entities on this account is going to work still as an approved 50-50. The monies will only be used for airport.
Well, I agree with all that. I'm just saying that if we put the money in the bank, they give him interest. They give the airport interest on their money. Does the county do the same?
They do, we do.
Okay, that's all that is.
Yes, it would be the way the county, the state auditor expressed it to us, and if I understood the county commissioner right, that income, the income, the lease money, would be line item as this is income from Mondale Field goes to this account. It's in the general fund, but it's a line item in a ledger that shows this is our money from us. Now, I don't know how the other funds do that, if the fair board does or something like that, with their income. But if it does generate income, I would assume the bank has to split it out somehow, but. This is all kind of virgin territory for us too. It's the first time we've been able to say, hey, we can generate income.
I think it's wonderful.
no, I'm really excited for you guys too. I think this is great. So, is there any further discussion?
Yeah, I think this is almost similar to how we fund our fire truck stuff. We put money back every year in the CDs that's generated.
That's kind of how the auditor expressed us, that some highway departments and road and bridges do that. They have a discretionary fund set aside, so if they have road repairs that are unexpected come up, here's the fund that can cover that. Yeah. They put money, income to that every year into this fund, and it just keeps accruing until, if they do have a major expense, there's the money. It's not having to, where we find it. So, it's kind of exciting. I was, yeah.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Yep. Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Is you're in it for the fun?
Yeah, I love folklore and storytelling, and for me, Halloween is we celebrate it. We do the costumes, and I love to watch horror movies and eat garbage, and I don't, think my kids' candy. But I've heard it said that sometimes horror movies, ghosts, monsters are really just metaphors for the other things we're really afraid of but can't address directly. Maybe it's healthy to get this out of our system. As a kid, if I heard a bump in the night, I'd be terrified. As an adult, if I hear a bump in the night, I'm terrified. It's the furnace and I have to pay for it. It's just maybe it was fun sometimes to be afraid of things that in most cases couldn't really hurt you, instead of worrying about debt or child abduction or, cancer or something that really is a threat. It's fun to be afraid of things that can't really hurt you.
One other item, I think, you guys might have received a copy of a grant agreement. The state of Wyoming and the FAA, when they first set up this hangar, grant, they had two different grants. This is actually a part of that was added on later. They sent those out in, I believe it was August for signatures, but they sent it to previous mayor and the previous commission chairman. And so when they didn't get a reply, then they called and I said, well, no, we haven't. There's new people now, so they were going to send them out, and then by then it was too late in the fiscal year to send it out, which begins with October 1st, I guess. October 1st, I guess, they sent it out in October. And so they just got around to sending those out the other day. And the money on there, that $2,200 and some is, the way the engineer said is, that should be included in the total amount of the grants. And it's more of a technical thing that they have to get done for, and why it's separated, I couldn't explain why that's separated, and he wasn't really sure either, why they did that. But, so there's no actual money, we're not coming to you asking for that extra money. That's just it's just something that's more of a technicality that needs signed. If there wasn't, if that for some reason wasn't included in the total amount of the grant, the contractor, which Powder River Construction out of Gillette, has been penalized because he did not finish the hangars on time, and that penalty is a little over $7,000. So that was, if for some reason that wasn't included in the total grant, the $7,000 would cover any additional amount. So basically, we're just asking for the approval. Have you received an email?
So I checked email today and I didn't see anything in there, but I'll check it again.
Okay. Yeah, they said they would.
There, it looks like it's gonna need a digital signature.
Right, yeah. Yeah, but I just got this, I just printed out a copy so you know, can see that what you were. So, anyway, however you guys want to work that, if you want to give it approved for the mayor to sign that, or when he receives it, or you could vote on it later, however you guys want to do that. I just wanted to.
Okay. Well, we can take care of it.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
does the council entertain a motion that, the mayor sign the WIO Aeronautics, grant and aid? Wyoming Airport Improvement Program Certificate of State Grant and Aid.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
You have a motion properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'll let you know if Vlad calls me back.
Okay, I appreciate that, thank you.
Vlad's the guy that they're waiting to see if he's gonna take the hangar spot. Extra hangar spot. Moving on to citizens' business in writing. Item number 1, Tanya Christensen, 24-hour catering permit. So the 24-hour catering permit, that under by virtue of the provisions of section 12-4-502, subsection B of the State of Wyoming Alcoholic Beverage Control Laws, the City of Newcastle, County of Weston, State of Wyoming, in consideration of the sum of $20 paid by Tanya Christensen doing business as Cap and Bottle of the City of Newcastle, County of Weston, hereby licenses, permits, and authorizes said Tanya Christensen doing business as Cap and Bottle to sell alcoholic and malt beverages in and upon the premise of the Weston County Senior Center's Citizens Center for an event more specifically described as follows: Pinnacle Banks Festival of Trees. This license for catering permit is for the term of 1 day only beginning on the 5th day of December 2025 at 0900 a.m. through the 6th day of December 2025 at 0900 a.m. Does the council entertain a motion to approve the 24-hour catering permit?
Second.
We have a motion properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
What were those dates again?
The 5th to the 6th, at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. All right, moving on, just to let you folks know, we have a public hearing scheduled for 7:30, so in 10 minutes. We'll go ahead and troop through the agenda, and then we'll come back to the public hearing and pause the meeting when we get to that point. So, old business, there is none. New business, there is none. Committee and council member reports. Streets committee. Was the streets committee able to meet in regard to the wall?
No, Mr. Mayor, I apologize, I did not get that scheduled.
Okay, that's all right.
What were we gonna meet about?
To discuss the
Retaining wall.
retaining wall.
Oh, yeah, I think it's discussed.
Yeah.
And a couple other things too, for you.
Okay, well, if you guys want to schedule something in the near future before the next council meeting. Okay, moving on to Boys and Girls Club. I had a meeting today with our city grant writer, Beth Blackwell, and the Boys and Girls Club in Gillette. One of their board members was in attendance, and then we also kind of compiled like a small steering committee. So we're trying to move forward with the collaboration with our Double Aces program and the Boys and Girls Club. So we kind of discussed today about what direction the steering committee wants to go and what kind of grants and funding that we'd like to look to kind of speed up the type of facility or the type of activities that we want to utilize moving forward. So my personal opinion is I would like to see, because it came up during the meeting that, Double Aces would like to have their own space. And then, like I've reported on previous council meetings, the recreation board would like to have some space, and then we'd like to have some space for some other community activities. And so I would like to see them get their own facility at some point. So it's kind of a pipe dream right now, but it's something that I want to keep working towards. So I just wanted to let the council know what we met on today. Is there any questions?
What do you mean by space?
Like at their own facility, like their own building. So we were looking around town at possibly like vacant buildings, or maybe even thinking about property that the city owns where we could site something. So I'm gonna come and talk to Public Works and Engineer Dietrich about trying to identify such spaces. Is there any other questions? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to RCAC. I don't know if we've gotten any closer to putting out the job posting for the community coordinator position. Has the personnel committee
I
gotten to?
delivered one job description to one person.
Okay.
I have done that.
Well, I was busy jabbering about it this weekend at the Chamber of Commerce banquet, but I we really need to get that position identified, or we need to post the advertisement so that we can try to get some people interested and maybe get some candidates. Because today I attended a class that was designed for the community coordinator, but we don't have one yet. So I attended it. It was fantastic. I'm going to share Councilman Butts, I'm going to share the link. They recorded the training so that you and Councilman Voss can both watch it if you'd like. So it was basically just a training on just ways to revitalize your main street. They had they took some community members onto Main Street in some towns that are in pretty rough shape, and they have a lot of vacant buildings and whatnot. And they did a tour of the vacant buildings and allowed the citizens to go in and look, and it kind of sparked the citizens to help identify people that wanted to move into the space. And it was kind of like a heartwarming tale, right? They got some people moved into the space, and they started operating out of those buildings, and it revitalized the Main Street, right? I think in Iowa was where it was at. And then another one of the ideas, because I only caught about half the meeting because I was in a meeting prior, but the other ones, they took sheds, and they parked a bunch of sheds in like a designated area and let people rent those spaces and made like a little village. And then people operated little businesses and sold things out of those little sheds, and the sheds are portable, and if they don't want to have them there anymore, then they could move them. So there's all these really good ideas rolling around, out across our wonderful nation about how towns revitalize their Main Street or find, good ways to use small spaces in their community. And so anyway, that was a little taste of what our community coordinator is going to be exposed to, so maybe they can come back and generate some good ideas for our city. So I will share those with you, Councilman Voss and Councilman Butts. And then, does anybody else have any questions about our CAC? So with that being said, are we ready to post the job description in the paper yet?
Well, I'm going to post the job description in the paper.
Okay.
Please.
Do we have a second?
Was there adjustments to what was given to us, or are we using that particular one? Because I know there were some things in there that we probably didn't want to put in there for them as a scope. It might not be able to meet those goals.
Right.
Okay.
I think the personnel committee should have a meeting and get this hammered out.
Okay, so prior to next council meeting, could we call a personnel committee meeting? And we saw a motion on the floor. Was it seconded? Was it seconded? It was never seconded. Okay. Motion dies for lack of second. We'll go ahead and let's call a committee meeting of the personnel committee, because we need to get this done. We're not going to be able to utilize the full potential and scope of the grant and the project if we don't get something posted and identify somebody to work in that capacity. So,
And I'm going to be tied up till almost the end of the month, so it's not going to give me much time before the next meeting.
okay.
Give me a proxy to represent you on the personnel
Do
committee.
you want somebody to represent you on the personnel committee by proxy? I mean,
It doesn't matter, because I'm not going to have time with everything I've got going on at work right now.
that's all right. Understood. Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah.
The new store. This is the one-stop shop. We have a pharmacy. We have a bootlegger's liquor. The deli, the food that you can get at a lunchtime is so amazing. The coffee shop. Certain Friday mornings, there's 30 people sitting here in all these chairs. This is the hub for people to come and visit, have their coffee, have their donuts. It's amazing what this area has done. Totally amazing.
Who can?
I'm in the same boat as him. so.
Oh, yeah, you guys both work at the same place. Is there anybody else that would like to hammer out the job description? It's,
Mr. Butts, let's you and I do this together.
Okay. I'll help you.
And then Ann, you're on personnel committee?
Darren and Ann are on, so we just need one person.
Okay. Then I'll shut up. You wanna do it? Go ahead.
Just say.
I'll do it.
Okay. Thanks, Jenna.
I'll make that one, sir. Good night.
All right, thank you guys. Okay. We've got 1 minute until, our public hearing starts. I don't have any like, elevator music or anything that I can play for.
Sit down. You're not telling me why. I can tell that right away. That's okay. Yeah, look, I'm a friend. I just know that I'm a friend. That's just my money.
Okay, we'll go ahead and pause the city council, regularly scheduled city council meeting here at 7:30 and start our public hearing for a zoning change request. So, at the Newcastle Planning Commission meeting on November 13th, 2025, the Commission conditionally approved the zone change for Lot 11, Block 1, Manuel Bradley addition, owned by Joel Olson. The zone change for R1 from R1 to I1 was conditionally approved in the event the Sips Coffee Shop departs from the property later. The zoning would resort back to R1 zoning district. So that's respectfully signed, Carl Lacey, the Vice Chairman of the Newcastle Planning Commission. So at this time, we'd like to call for any public comment about said change. Is there any public comment?
I had one. I don't know if I'm considered voted or not. Where's the driver gonna be for that?
Oh, yeah. Zach, did you come prepared to?
Yes, sir. I did not have time over the weekend to get individual drawings, but I did get this poster board kind of put together with updated measurements of the site plan and where our water lines and everything are gonna be running. If this does get pushed through by you guys and it is approved, the plan is right off of Stampede where this main entrance and exit is gonna be to try to cut down on traffic. With the move, this is also gonna be where our construction entrance is gonna be placed, and I've been in contact with the engineer about how to do that to keep mud and debris off the roadway while we're prepping the site and get everything ready. And that's all up to their code of how we're gonna do that, and that we've discussed and went through today, I believe. So this is just kind of what we were thinking is we're just gonna move right across the alleyway to that empty lot right there. We're gonna do some grading, and we've discussed water flow. Right now, it seems like all the water flows to the southwest corner of that lot, right along Stampede, and that's gonna be kind of where we wanna keep it, headed that way so it can get out into the curb and gutter and continue draining down the drainage. So we've kind of figured out how much fill we're gonna need across that lot. We're gonna need about 2.5 feet in majority of the spots to level it out. If the building split over, we'll be purchasing new water and sewer taps and trenching those lines in. And we'll be giving the public notice that when we're getting ready to do that, that way they know when that alleyway is gonna be shut down. I'm also working on, right now I gotta visit with Joel a little bit more But there is an old roadway path that runs through part of his property that I'm gonna discuss with him and see if that's a spot that we can maybe do a little detour while we're in the middle of working on that alleyway. That way anyone that needs access to that alleyway will still have it while we're under construction in that alleyway, so they're not being put out from getting to their homes. And that does have some gravel that will revitalize. That way there's no issues with getting stuck or tracking mud through that way either. But all of our plan right now is to hopefully get the shop slid over to where they can utilize 2 drive-up windows to cut down the traffic that would be backing up onto Stampede Street. So that's been kind of an issue, and it would keep them out of the alleyway. So it'll have its own entrance and exit with 2-way traffic. There'll be one entrance that is right off of Stampede with an exit right next to it, and then there'll be an entrance and an exit off of Cheyenne Avenue.
So we're in receipt of a letter that says it might back up on people's driveways and cause a traffic problem right there where SIPS is gonna move to. Is that being taken care of?
So with having 2 drive-throughs open, yes, that'll cut that down. Right now, with where they're located, yeah, there's backup into the alleyway quite frequently, and that's part of the reason that this move we feel would be a good idea, is because we'd be able to open up 2 drive-throughs, which would cut down on the traffic, but it also puts majority of the traffic on their property. So there shouldn't be a whole lot sticking out, and if there's any overflow, it's going to be coming out on the Cheyenne Avenue.
Very good. Thank you.
Yep.
Is there any further questions for Zach? I also see in attendance that there was only one letter in opposition that was written. Would any of the parties like to come forward and address the letter?
I guess I could. I mean, he pretty much answered it last on Thursday. My question though, with the 2 windows for you is, so if you're going to come in, how are you going to make them exiting? That would, I mean, because I was trying to see where your guys' entries in.
Yep.
And then, so how are you going to make that feasible so that people aren't going to run? Because I have that problem at my place, and it's only one around.
So right here, we'll have a separate entrance out on Cheyenne Avenue with a separate exit. So once they get over to here, it's gonna be 2-way traffic, just like on a roadway, just like at an intersection. Anywhere in town, they're gonna be on opposing sides. There will be signage there that states which.
Good luck. Good luck.
Which way is that it's 2-way traffic in that area to help kind of direct people which way they need to go.
I have directions in my place too, and
the nice thing about that approach is it's a fairly wide approach. Starting at the widest part of the apron for that approach, it's going to be 30 feet wide, where it will then narrow down to about 20 feet wide. But that's whether when you get into the actual property and the traffic divides again.
So I did have one comment that I would like to make as well. Part of the motivation for me personally on the council to allow for SIPs to be cited where it was that it was going to generate some revenue for double aces in the church there. So I was disappointed that you guys are going to move, because they're going to miss out on some of that revenue that I think that they needed.
We definitely were too. It's Tammy Allen actually who decided that she didn't really want to sell the property anymore, that the building was too big. So we are sad that rent is not going to that program anymore. But we do a lot with sponsoring the volleyball program and any booster club stuff that we do get asked. We try to get back to the community a lot.
No, I think that's admirable. Thank you for that. Was there any other comment from the public? Council, do you have anything else?
How much revenue is gonna go back in this letter? It says you're based out of California.
That is not true. We were made in Glen Rock, Wyoming, that's where our owner lives. And she has since expanded to Casper, Mills, Douglas, Newcastle, Cody. So we are just a Wyoming-based company. There was a couple things in that letter that was wrong, such as we do get a lot of groceries in town. We actually have a breakdown of what we've spent since being open, if you would like to get that.
If you're going to go ahead and give the volleyball and things like that, could you make an attempt to give to double aces, please?
I'm sure I can talk to the owner about that. I'm sure she would have no issues with that.
Thank you.
Excellent. Does council have any further?
No, just kind of looking, I was wondering about the traffic flow, and that kind of explains a little bit more of the concern of the traffic flow there. I think your key issue of trying to keep it that way is going to be getting everybody on that same token.
Yeah, it's gonna be challenging, but I'm hoping that once everyone kind of sees, I mean, right now, there's usually a line of cars there anytime I go by, so I'm hoping maybe, we get a few people going through them, and then they can just start playing follow the leader.
And that's something we can talk with my girls too about, discussing to people as they come through on how to direct them. So it's
On
easier.
both sides, going to be the backup motions coming in on.
That's what I was discussing, yeah.
Coming in on Cheyenne and then trying to get in that east driveway. And then also from the north side, coming in off the Stampede into the alleyway into the west drive up. If other people know that they can come down from Cheyenne from the east and try to use that as their approach to come into there and slow down some of that backup traffic coming off the Stampede, because that's going to be a lot of, especially school bus traffic. I think that was going to be a little tougher for you to try to get that across to the communities and your customers.
I do see where you're coming there. I feel like though, with the time that we're gonna have for construction, that it'll give us plenty of time, like Cody said, they can kind of discuss to the community and people that are coming through, what it's gonna look like in the future at the new property. I'm also gonna be putting up those site plans at the front of the property, in a enclosed container to where people walking by or driving by or anyone that's got questions, can stop and take a look at it. I'll also have my contact information there, so if anyone's got questions throughout the construction period, that they can definitely give me a call and ask whatever questions they need to.
And I'm more than willing to post on Facebook and try to get the word out as well, utilizing social media to spread the word around town. That's been a great asset of ours so far.
Just have, so we've seen an experience in another town that's pretty heavily visited in Spearfish. They have a lot of backup problems within that street that comes off of their main street into a housing district. People are going to come in for the shortest, best way into the area.
How long is construction planned?
From start to finish, I'm hoping to have everything, if we can get started right away, I'm hoping to have everything done and then in their new location by the first of the year. The plan is as of right now to start on grading hopefully next week, if everything goes right. Get everything graded out and then get water and sewer installed, hopefully before it starts freezing any more than what we've already got. But we're gonna get everything done on site and let the coffee shop remain open. And then, once the site's ready, the night that they close down that night, we will go ahead and move the shed. Shouldn't take us more than 3 hours to get the shed moved and sat in its new location so they can open the next home in Breckenridge.
Was there anything further from the council?
How many employees do you have employed right now?
I have 11 baristas and myself, so it's 12 total.
I have just one question. The older gentleman that was here, and he mentioned about the sewer. Now, how are you going to make that sewer? Were they going to make the land go higher?
So yeah, we're gonna be bringing up the grade of the lot, but as far as making grade for the sewer in that alleyway is 11 feet deep. So the floor of the sewer will work perfect with the grade that we're shooting to be at, because we will be bringing the grade up on that lot 2.5 feet.
He said you can't move the sewer going up from your business, you know?
Yeah, no, we understand that, so
Okay.
that's why we're working on bringing fill in and leveling that lot out, so everything can be utilized properly.
And then I'd like to make one more statement, and I think we're ready to close the meeting, is that? Okay, it was brought up, I attended the planning and zoning committee meeting, and one of the things that was brought up, and I had to bite my tongue, because I didn't, it was nice just sitting at a meeting and not having to preside over it, but I believe that my council's like-minded. One of the concerns that was brought up was that prior councils hadn't worked very good with the business owner when it came to trying to redesignate or try to make things flow a little bit smoother for them. And it's been a goal of mine to try to foster a good business environment in our community and make things easy for people. So I've even advised some of my staff that we need to kind of tell people how it's possible to do something instead of telling them why they can't do something. So we want to kind of move forward in that direction and try to foster a good environment for businesses in our community. So we'll do our best to work with the businesses in our community. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And then if there's nothing further from the public, nothing from the council, all right, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 7:45 and move back into our regular session. So now we'll move down to department head reports. Item number 1 is please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, it was a conditional, basically approval of that variance.
Oh, yeah, we need to.
So do we need a motion, or was it just done, or was it actual conditional on the council approval?
I mean, some people pay for good rides like that.
Go to her general and rush early.
Yeah, sorry, we need to do that in the public hearing.
I think that it was conditional, right, on the council's approval?
Yes. Yes, it was, okay. So I'm gonna open the public hearing back up at 7:46. So, does the council entertain a motion to approve the zone change for Lot 11, Block 1, Manwell Bradley Edition, owned by Joel Johnson, and change the zone from R1 to I1, conditionally approved in the event Sips Coffee departs from the proper later that the zoning would resort back to R1.
So moved.
Second. Okay, we have a motion properly seconded to change the zoning conditionally and revert it back to R1 should SIPs ever vacate that location. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries, we rezone the property. Thank you for all the public that came, was in attendance.
Thank you.
So now we'll close the public hearing again at 7:47. Sorry, council. And we'll move on to department head reports with our first item being Attorney Evelyn Hughes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council, the only thing that I wanted to discuss was I would request to either attend the next water and sewer meeting or if we don't have one scheduled, to have one regarding the Chapter 26 revisions. I just wanted to kind of walk through with everybody on what the thought process was on some of those things. Some of those things, they just need to be kind of fleshed out.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I can arrange for a water sewer committee meeting.
Sounds good.
And just to clarify, it's not that there's anything that I think is incredibly illegal in there. There's just some things I do not completely understand that you use wording for. So.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Stevenson and Kenny, I guess let me know what your schedules are, because it's more conditional on when you can meet.
No, it's fine if it's after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I still got a little bit to go through on that. But primarily it's just for clarification on some of the engineering things that you two get up to over there.
Can't get complicated, trust me.
I guess we can broach the subject at the next council meeting, especially seeing that I am not entirely done with, I believe it's 10 or 15 of those ordinances, so that's all I have. Thank you, council.
Yeah, any further questions for Attorney Hughes?
I have a question. I would like to know if our present ordinance about commercial property or for commercial, the zone for commercial, and I would wonder if we can make and pass a distinction between commercial property and a salvage yard running commercial as a business and a junkyard.
Okay.
Because as I look behind like over there by Pizza Hut and stuff, they're just a whole bunch of junk back in through there. And I'm sure, and I know all that's zoned commercial. And I think there's a difference between something zoned commercial for a commercial purpose and then somebody just stacking their crap on it. And I'd like to know if the council can make that distinction and get those people to get their junk out of there or otherwise start a business.
So the council, in terms of what is zoned, I know that in bigger cities, for instance, you can have over 200 different designations for zoning areas. One of the things with this is that the owners of those properties, if they are in compliance, if they have the proper permits for actually running a salvage yard, for instance, changing their zoning to something different than what it's been grandfathered into and what they've been zoned under for a while probably is going to raise the ire of said property owners. Now, let's say if you were to run into somebody who's running a junkyard, but they don't have the permitting and they're not
I'm saying that there's no junkyard. It's just junk. They're not running anything. They're just parking stuff there and leaving it. And I don't want to change any zoning ordinance or any zoning. I just want to make the distinction that if it's zoned commercial, you're going to be commercial. You're not just going to stack your junk there and leave it sit. It's not a storage yard. It's a zoned commercial for a reason.
I agree.
There is as we've discussed on multiple occasions, the junk ordinances that are involved in those apply to any zoned area within the city. Now, the exception to that is if they do have the permit, of course, to operate a junkyard themselves.
Then that's okay.
Yeah. Now, on the other hand, if they, let's say that, on a piece of property that I buy, I decide to start just taking junk vehicles and dumping them on there and doing nothing with them, it's a violation of the town code. So I can be cited for that. I think the zoning thing is probably I think that would really complicate the plot pretty quickly. But if there are property owners who are just storing junk, they can be cited, and eventually they will have to clean it up or they will continue to be cited.
Okay. And I'm coming to the county with the same idea.
Councilman Butts and Councilman McCauley, did you guys have something that you'd like to add to the discussion? Okay, you were speaking when they were speaking over here, so I didn't know if you had
I
anything.
just said I agree, that's all I'm saying.
Okay,
I said those buses are ugly out there.
are they? Nothing else? Okay. Did you have anything further?
I just want to say, what I'm after is when something is zoned C1, C1 means that you have to get a salvage yard permit and you have to run a commercial business. Otherwise, you're not commercial, you're not, just like right downtown, right across the street from the old, offices of the Black Hills Energy. There's just lots sitting there, and there's a couple of things dumped in there, some old truck and some crap, and they're just throwing it on there. That's not a commercial. There's nothing running there that's commercial to anybody. And I think we can make that distinction that you're violating your own zoning.
That's all over town. What are you gonna do?
That's
What are you gonna do?
We're gonna start somewhere, and we're gonna do it all over town.
When?
That's
Good luck.
talking to the attorney.
Good luck.
Thank you for your good support there, Councilman.
So,
You better get your notebook out because it's all over.
Well, I know it is. That's
If
why
you think you're
we
gonna
have
cure
to
it all,
start
you're crazy.
somewhere. We have to start somewhere.
I think Councilman Voss has a good point though, because it's right on Main Street, so that would be a good place to start.
What's right on Main Street? He's talking about behind Pizza Hut.
Well, the second one I mentioned was right
Talking about
across.
what?
He was talking about the place over, across from Black Hills
Yeah,
Energy.
you know what I'm talking about.
What about the
Darren?
stuff that was going on Summit that nothing was ever done about?
Well, like I
No,
said,
that was a
this,
mess too, yeah.
I'm asking
And
this
that was
council to
about-
help
that's
me
what we're
start
talking
something. Darren, I'm asking this council to start something and get it going. And if we're going to have an economic development program and we're going to have a capacity building program in this city, we gotta clean it up. Nobody's gonna wanna move here and do anything as long as we got junk parked everywhere.
Did any of the council happen to crack that book that I gave you?
We crafted.
13 Ways to Kill Your Community.
I did, I read it.
Don't paint, If you have a community that's in disrepair, it draws the wrong crowd. If you have a community that looks nice and presentable, then it draws the right crowd. So, just one of the 13 ways to kill your community. So anyway, we'll go ahead and move on if there's nothing further. I
That's
understand what
my
you're saying.
question to you, and let's review that together sometime and we'll talk about it.
100%. Just to clarify, council, so clearly what has been a very common issue in the community is the junk vehicle, and just junk in general. The ordinance as it's written right now, frankly, there needs to be some amendments to it, and I understand that we've, mulled over this for a long time. As of right now, I'm still doing some research on some of the specifics as to the citing of privately owned property on private property, which is a complicated little issue in and of itself. But I will have something to the council by the spring, I promise.
Thank you.
Much appreciated, Attorney. So, we'll go ahead and move on to item number 2, Clerk Treasurer Stacy Haggerty.
And try to follow that, Stacy.
Nice, short and sweet. Actually, we had our field work of audit last week and very busy, but I believe went fairly well. But they'll continue to work on stuff for the next month or so, I'm sure. The other thing I would guess I'd have is anybody have questions on the financials? Okay. And my last item would be to request to have City Hall closed the Friday after Thanksgiving, August 28th, as we've done in the past using vacation or comp time.
August 28th.
November 28th. Then, right?
Why should we have to use comp time? Why don't we just close it?
Oh, 'cause it's not one of our vacation or our holidays that's planned for,
Oh, okay.
Really?
the Friday after.
Oh.
Does the council entertain a motion to close city, hall on November 28th?
So,
Second. We have a motion properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Any discussion? I hope you guys have a great other day off and a nice long weekend.
Thank you very much.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, Stacy. Does anybody have any questions for Clerk Haggerty? No? Okay, moving on to item number 3, Public Works Supervisor Greg Stump.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First item, the 2025 improvements project. The contractors completed all concrete repairs, sewer lines installed, water lines installed, everything's cleaned up. Due to the time of year, we decided to put off laying the sod and doing the reseeding of the area until springtime when it has a chance to grow. With that being said, due to where we had planned to do a shutdown of this project until spring. Phase 1 is complete. Phase 2 will start up again in the spring as soon as weather allows. So I recommend allowing the mayor owns to sign the shutdown order.
Council, do you entertain a motion for me to sign the shutdown order for the Newcastle 2025 improvements, Phase 1 and 2 project?
I move that we have the mayor sign the shutdown of the improvements project. What was it?
The 2025 improvements.
2025 improvements project.
Second.
We have a motion properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries.
Thank you, council. My next item, Duff Avenue Sewer Project. The generator was commissioned week before the power outage. It worked very well. We have finalized the entire project. I would recommend allowing Mayor Owens to sign the notice of final completion. Put this one in bed.
Does the council entertain a motion for me to put this one to bed? Notice of final completion and settlement. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carried.
If I may, that was one particular project that I am so glad to see at this point.
Yeah, council, let's give.
Well over 20 years.
That was one that particularly vexed me as a former employee of the city of Newcastle.
My next item, we got the final documents for the Highway 16 pathway project in Morrissey Road. While we're doing committee meetings, I would like to ask for a Parks Committee meeting as well to discuss the final plans and the cost estimate and stuff like that. It's okay, I'll send out a notice. We received the whiteout permit for the mirror on South Summit Avenue. We will get that scheduled in here shortly. Stephen Smith has completed his required probationary period. I recommend Stephen Smith for permanent employment with a 50-cent raise effective November 7th, 2025.
Does the council entertain a motion to approve the raise for Stephen Smith?
I move that we approve the full-time employee for employment for Stephen Smith plus a 50% raise.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, just want to note that it's 50 cents, not 50%.
Did I say percent? Oh.
Whoa, that would have been a heck of a raise. So we need to entertain,
I retract that motion and I move that we give Stephen a 50-cent raise and full-time employment since he has completed his qualification period.
Did you say full retirement?
No, I didn't say that. Don't give me good now.
do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay.
Thank you,
Motion
council.
carries.
My last item, Jesse Gretel has turned in his resignation. We have another open position. And that's all I have. Council, have any questions?
I have a question. Okay, on claims against the city, item 25942. And I'm kind of, it just looked like it was one of yours, so I thought I'd ask you about this instead of Stacy. It says architectural specialties, $9,218.97 for door repairs.
We had 6 doors damaged at the parks and had to replace these slabs.
6 doors?
All the doors at Centennial Park bathrooms and 3 of the doors at the ball field bathrooms were damaged.
Really?
On repair, yes. Vandalism's getting bad.
Do we have any insurance against vandalism?
I'm not sure, I don't think so, but if we do, it'd probably be like a $5,000 or $10,000 deductible. But, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I signed the check for WARM, Wyoming Association of Risk Management. So they should provide some sort of coverage, or is it the local government?
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with it enough, but I really can't comment, so.
Well, that is terrible. They're that much about vandalism. I have one other question for you. On 25929, it says we have an ice slicer for $7,400.
That's our mag chloride we use in the wintertime to cut the ice on the streets.
Okay.
That's one truckload.
That's what?
One truckload.
One truckload?
Yes, they ordered 3. We have about a truck and a half, almost 2 trucks already from last winter.
I thought maybe you got in a snow cone business. Thank you.
I'm trying to make money, Tom.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
When you call the Parks Committee meeting, you're also gonna be addressing some of the issues, for the momentum at Backyard Park.
Yes.
And also discussing maybe the fencing project. Okay. That's all I had. Does the council want anything else?
Great, again, just, it'll have to be after the end of the month for me.
Yeah, no, it's not a big rush meeting either. Something I want to present to the committee and kind of get some direction on where to go. The price came in rather steep, a lot higher than, it almost doubled the project cost. So,
wow.
What project is this?
The Highway 16 pathway project, the engineer's estimates in excess of $1.8 million.
Whew.
So.
My goodness.
Okay, any further questions for Public Works Supervisor? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to item number 4, Engineer Stephen Dietrich.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I've only got a few things to go over here. First one on the list is the Land and Water Conservation Fund for Dell Park Agreement. That is ready to be signed by the mayor if council sees that is prudent. It is to allow for buying the new restroom.
Council, do you entertain a motion for me to go ahead and sign this agreement?
And that's to buy a restroom for?
The Dell Park restroom facility.
This is the grant agreement for the $60,000.
I move that we approve that.
I second.
$60,000.
We have a motion properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. You got it signed.
Thank you. So my second item, earlier, the council talked about having a personnel committee meeting to talk about the recruitment for a position for the RCAC. I would also like to be able to address and attend that personnel committee meeting, because I also have a vacancy to discuss with the committee, the building inspector position, if possible. Okay?
That's
And
great.
then, you see my engineering report there. I was gonna skip going through all those details, unless you have questions about some of the building permits that were issued. You can see the permit fees collected were $2,988, with a total construction cost of $337,400. I'll stop there.
So anybody have any questions for Engineer Dietrich? Hearing none.
That's all for me. I'm done.
Thanks, Engineer Dietrich. We'll go ahead and move on to item number 5, Police Chief Derek Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First item on the calls for service between November 3rd and today. Newcastle Police Department, 154. We got 4 custodial arrests. Weston County Sheriff's Office, 97. Police Department, 57. Newcastle Volunteer Fire Department, 3. Weston County Fire Protection District, 7. Upton Volunteer Fire Department, 3. Newcastle Ambulance, 18. 15 in Newcastle, 5 of those were transfers from the hospital. Weston County, 3. And then up in the ambulance, there were 4. The second item is the backup generator that has been purchased to power the dispatch in the city building. Should be installed here in the near future. We did recently make provisions to utilize a smaller generator to power just dispatch in the event of another one of these power failures that we fear is going to be longer lasting and go beyond the capacity of our battery backups. So we do have provisions in place until the other generator is, the installation of the other generator is complete. And this was done in response to the more lengthier, we were concerned it was going to get very lengthy power outage late last week. So those things are in place just in case. And that's all I have to report at this time.
Does anybody have any questions for Chief Thompson? Nope. That power outage was spooky. I didn't like that.
It was interesting.
We will figure out what happened?
I think the report was a couple of 500,000 kilowatt breakers or something popped down in southern Wyoming somewhere, and then it fried the whole grid. And I mean, it was also communities across the other side of the Black Hills. I heard Rapid lost power for a while.
That just shows to go to that grid is not a good idea. We need to do something about that.
You see that tumbleweed animal?
All right, we'll go ahead and, does the council entertain a motion to pay the claims against the city dated November 17th, 2025?
Your Honor, I move that we pay our bills.
Second.
We have a motion properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. We paid the bills. The council entertain. Does the council entertain a motion to adjourn?
Let's go move.
We have a motion properly. What are you getting on that one? Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. We've turned at 8:14.
Right on the money. Okay, now,